Feel it, baby. Cowbell. Welcome back to another episode of Last Week This Week with your boy Clayton Hill. I'll be hanging out with you today. We'll be talking about some stuff. That's usually how it goes here on the show. But welcome back. Glad to have you. This one's going to be a little different. Hey, if you're having a good day, you might circle back to this one. I don't know if you want to stick around and hang out, because today we're getting funky. That's right. We're not talking about disco moves. No. That'd be a lot more fun. We're talking about the funk zone. Getting into a funk. The blues. The dumps. The ho-hums. The gloomies. Whatever you call it. Pretty much everything outside of the actual word depression, because that's scary. I think that that's becoming a little more normalized, and people are talking about that. But I don't like calling it depression, because, you already just start feeling that way. But I'll call it the funk zone. That kind of, hey, I might visit a place called the funk zone. That might be a Saturday night for me. I mean, it was a Saturday night for me in a very different way, but that sounds like a cool place that I could go to, you know? So we're going to call it the funk zone. And I'm just going to dive in, tell you like what my personal, like what do I see happening? What do I feel? Because I get in a funk zone every now and then, and I think a lot of people do. I think mine really started coming out. Well, I think it was the pandemic, honestly, because before that I was just told what to do all the time. And so I had a funk zone maybe, but I was covered up with work and what I was doing before. Now that I'm kind of doing my own thing, having more freedom in my schedule, there's a little more opportunity for that. So I'll look at kind of what I experience, what I go through, how I can tell that one is coming on, and how to get out of that thing. Because that's what we eventually want to do, right? We can't stay in the funk club all the time. We got to get out of the club. Like a regular club, you can't be there all the time. It's not healthy. You got to leave the club at some point. So we got to get out of the funk zone at some point. And I was feeling pretty funky. I've been feeling kind of funky maybe the past couple weeks. Like, what is it today? Wednesday? Yeah, I was supposed to do this yesterday. Tuesday's kind of my ideal day. I had yesterday off all day to do it, but didn't do it, did I? Nope. We're here today, though. And I notice mine whenever I start losing gratitude. I think that's the main thing, because I've been manifesting for this move. I mentioned that on the last podcast. I want to move. I want to get out of the crack house. I want to find something in LA that kind of caters to my country roots, gives me a little bit of space, is good for me and the dog, right? Being shoved in this like half one bedroom apartment with barely I can't cook. Everything else is all right. The kitchen is terrible. I've got a little bit of green space out back, but it's nothing to write home about. It's probably more than most. I'm in the city. I'm like around too much stuff going on. So I want a little space. I want myself to have some space. I want Rambo to have some space. I've been manifesting this move. If you're watching online, you can see behind there's just piles of clothes just kind of laying on the floor. And I've gone through some closets, trying to clean those out, condense it. I've got 2 closets. I want to get down to 1 because I don't know what the next place will have. And a lot of the places that I'm looking at are smaller, converted garages into like an ADU, like a back house pretty much. Somebody else's rich house, and they have like a house behind their house. That's the one that I want. That'll give me my own space, give me a little bit of yard. That's kind of what I'm aiming for. And so I'm going to probably have to downsize a little bit. So I'm going through a bunch of clothes, and I'm thinking about that. I'm also thinking about making a career shift. I wouldn't say a career shift, a job shift. Or I want to start working for myself, doing something entrepreneurial. Might be a word. Maybe entrepreneurial. You got it. But I want to start doing something on my own schedule, on my own time. So I'm thinking about what skills do I have? What do I want to do? What makes me happy? What still gives me flexibility in my schedule? And both of those things are things that I don't have. So I'm focusing on a house or an apartment that I don't have. I'm focusing on a job that I don't have. And whenever I get into this, both of which are good. I think change is good, and I think both of those would elevate me in my life. I think I'd be happier. But now I'm focusing on things that I don't have rather than being grateful for things that I do have. And so it's a very tricky situation. It's a very fine balance that I find myself in whenever I'm looking at, oh man, wouldn't it be nice to have this job? Well, how do I even get that job? I haven't done anything in that field at all. So do I start with an internship? Do I need, so now I'm thinking about all these things I don't have, stressing about things that I don't have, stressing about starting from the bottom again, stressing about if I move, is it a hike in my financial situation? Probably. I'm already spending a lot of money right now. How much more would I have to spend a month? And then that goes back to my job that I don't have. So we're stuck in this cycle of thinking about things that we don't have, and it keeps going back and forth and back and forth. I can't get a nicer place without a nicer job. I can't get a nicer job without starting from the bottom. If I start from the bottom, then it's going to take a while to get to the top. And you worry about all these things that are hypotheticals. And that's usually where my stress comes from, is I stress about things that either have already happened or haven't even happened yet. And it's just worthless. And I can't, I'm smiling. If you're not watching, I'm actually smiling while I'm talking about this because it's funny to me that I continue to come back to this. And I think that a lot of people do. And I listened to a podcast. I really should do a lot better with like crediting other people. But there was another podcast about depression, and this guy basically lived, a decade or so just going to the doctor, getting diagnosed, taking some pills, things not getting better, going back, getting a higher dose, taking more pills, things not getting better, going back, and living on like the maximum dosage that he could, and things still not getting better. And so he took a look at chemical versus environmental. And I believe that mine is I don't know my biological history. Maybe some of it is there, but I really feel that a lot of mine is environmental, right? What am I doing? What am I focusing on? Maybe what I'm not doing. What are my habits in my life, and what habits don't I have that I need to incorporate? So if I'm not, I really, and this is me just learning about myself. I don't think it's chemical. Maybe it is. Maybe, who knows? It might be a little bit of both. But I'm looking at how I'm living. How do I spend my time? What's my physical activity like? How am I eating? How am I sleeping? My mental and physical habits, my social habits, my spiritual habits. I have to take a look at what's going on. So I'll notice that things come around when I start kind of, I become a recluse. All right. I start disassociating with my friends, with my family. I won't hit people up. I won't text. I won't call. I'm definitely not getting out of the house. I start to sleep in a little bit more. I'm on the couch a little bit more. I'm on my phone a little bit more. I'm watching TV a little bit more. And even though that, I still love my family, I love my friends, I'm a very outdoorsy kind of person, you'll see all of that kind of disappear. And then I call it my caveman. And I just sink into my cave. This is my apartment. It's dark. It's comfy. It feels good. It's weird that it feels good. My nutrition just goes right out the window. I want the junk food when I get into this zone. I will go and buy so much ice cream. That ice cream and pizza. I will sit there and I'll just get the most disgusting type of pizza, which I love. But okay, we know the pizza's not very healthy for you. But give me one of those handmade pan pizzas. So it's almost a thick crust pizza with like the garlic Parmesan sauce. So now we're in it's kind of like a garlic Alfredo kind of, but it's a white sauce. It's garlic and Parmesan. And then throw me like some chicken and bacon on there. Hell yeah. Give me like some cheese sticks. All right. I'll get a salad to make me feel better, but really it's just to fill me up more. So I'm going to eat the salad. I'm probably going to get through half the pizza and half the sticks. That's a lie. That's where I try to stop. I probably get through 3/4 of the pizza and 3/4 of the cheesy sticks. I get to a point where I just feel just so full that the food is at the top of my throat. Like if I take another bite, it's just going to be food in my mouth. Like I can't even digest it. I get to that point, and then I eat a pint of ice cream. And it makes me feel good. Temporary. It's like so short term, but it makes me for whatever feel good. And so I do this and I do it because that's the only thing that feels good. Because everything else has a lack of fun. I love being outside, but the hell if I'm going outside. I love hanging out with my friends, but no. It just loses its fun. Rambo never loses his fun though. I'll always hang out with Rambo, but that's part of the cave. That's part of eating like shit. Feeling like shit, sitting there laying and watching shit TV, all of that for whatever that's what I go to. And I just want to lay there with my buddy, but not on my tummy because my tummy is full as fuck. So you need to like chill out and move to the side of the couch, dude. Like that's where we're at. And I'll stay and I'll watch movies or I'll look at, I'll watch ESPN or I'll look at fantasy football stuff for hours. For hours, man. And so it's like, I even got out and I played golf this past weekend. And golf was mad. I really do. Like I would play golf every day and I suck. And I'm terrible. But I would do it all the time. I don't know what it is. It's the only sport that I've found that I'm terrible at, but I would do it all the time. And I was like, I don't ever want to get into golf. Like everybody plays golf. I don't really see the reasoning for playing golf. Like I do other things. I'll do frisbee golf or whatever. I'd like to go hike. I'd rather go do all that than spend a bunch of money. And nope. I'd rather drain my bank account, I guess. And be out there playing. I don't know what it is. But that's how I feel about golf. And even when I was playing golf, I was having a terrible day. Like playing golf. I couldn't drive worth shit. Everything was slicing right. If I was playing the hole to the right of us, I'd be doing great. But I couldn't get a ball to go straight for anything. And so you get into this point where things that are supposed to be fun are meh. And then I get to the point where I lose the basics. All right. So it's like, okay, well, fine. You don't want to talk to anybody. That I get that. You don't want to go outside. You kind of, you don't feel good. You don't want to talk to other people and be all mopey and stuff. That's not fun for anyone else. So I get that. But then it gets to the point where like I said, my healthy habits become unhealthy. I will start eating myself and becoming the girl that eats the blueberry and Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. And I'll blow up. And then it gets to the point where I'm like, I'm not going to shower today. Well, why brush my teeth? Because I'm not going to be leaving. I mean, nobody's going to be around me. I'm not showering. I'm not changing clothes. I don't want to brush my teeth. Like, screw it. And I just then I just stop taking care of myself. So that's what I feel. That's what I feel. And these are the signs and symptoms. I can kind of see them coming on. All right, well, usually I call my parents every day. Maybe now it's every other day. Maybe it's every 3 days. I start losing touch with friends, and it's like, we're friends. Like, they'll be there. I take things for granted. And we get in this lack of desire to do anything. Then we get to a point where nothing is fun. And like, what's the point? The ho-hums, the blues, the mopies. Then it just sinks in. So how do we get out of it? Because we can't live there. That cannot be it. This cannot be life. I refuse to let it be there. So I've been through this cycle enough to know that it's temporary. And I think that's really important. To be like, okay, we've had a day. Okay, we've had 2 days. Okay, we've had 3 days. Usually that's about it. Sometimes I say 3 days. 3 days in like the pits, right? 3 days of the not taking care of myself, of being on the couch, whatever it is. And then I'll get up and going. But there is like a lightness of not being grateful and wanting things that you don't have, and kind of finding yourself not being involved in the external world. That can go on. That can last. But the actual, like, the pit of it is usually no more than a few days. Because then I get sick and tired of it, and I've got to claw my way out of it. So how do we do that? One, knowing that for me, these are things that I've just noticed. And I think that's super important, that you have to just be aware, the self-awareness of what's going on, the self-awareness of seeing these signs and symptoms, knowing that something is coming, understanding that it's just temporary, and then taking action to climb out of it. That's kind of the process that I've seen and I've gone through. So I know that it's temporary. And then at some point, I just have to make a decision, right? At some point, I have to decide that, okay, we're getting out of this. I'm done with it. And it's time to get out. Usually I'll throw in the towel. That last day, I'm like, dude, tomorrow. Tomorrow is it. And I think that's fine. I think you can shift it at any moment throughout the day. But for some reason, the morning seems like the easiest to just reset. Go to sleep, reset, and get it going. If I find out a way to make that happen in the middle of the day, I'll let you guys know. But so far, it's got to be that next morning. So, but it really starts the day before, right? You understand, okay, this is it. Tomorrow we're making the shift. And this is the last day. So that's fine. Order another pizza, eat another pint of ice cream, watch another movie. It's okay. Because tomorrow we're switching things up. And I say it starts the next day, but really that mindset the day before is super huge. And then I need to plan. I'm a big planner. So I need to figure out what my goals are for the next day, what my schedule is for the next day. Put that down in the calendar and hold myself accountable to it. And so I usually, the night before I'm prepping for the next day, I get plenty of rest, and I wake up and I get back to the basics. Now, first thing I said was that I lose sight of what I have and I focus on what I don't have. So what I try to do, and I didn't do it today, and today was the day that I wanted to flip things around. So we're still half in, half out, and that's okay. But I try to meditate. I'll do a 10-minute meditation because that's all my little ADD brain can handle. So I'll do a 10-minute meditation and just focus on gratitude. And even if you don't meditate, just list things that you're grateful for. And I've said this plenty of times on the podcast, but that's why it's, getting out and we'll get to there, but like taking a walk, just breathing, even if you don't take a walk, waking up, being grateful for waking up. Holy hell, we did it again, man. My eyes are open. I have another day. I have another day on this earth, another day with the people that I love, another day with the people around me, another day with my dog, Buddy. From cleaning out all that stuff, he's actually hiding underneath the bed. He's being a little den wolf right now. but just another day, another opportunity. What can come about today? You have no idea. The unknown. Breathe, taking a deep breath, breathing in fresh air. Holy hell, my body works. That's pretty cool. My arms are moving. I still got 10 fingers and 10 toes. If you were a victim of something, however many fingers and toes that you have, as long as it was the same as the night before, and you didn't lose any more, I think that's a win. And getting back to those basics and gratitude, I may not have the place that I'm looking for, but I have a place. And somehow I've been able to afford this place. Somehow. I moved here without a job, without knowing anybody, and somehow for 4 years I've been able to pay $1,700 a month. That is pretty wild. The price is wild, I agree, but it's pretty wild that I've been able to make that work. And this may sound like you're patting yourself on the back. Yeah, I don't see it like that. You know, I'm grateful that I've had the opportunities in life to make this happen. I'm grateful to have the people that I do in my life, to have that support system. I may not have the job that I want, but I have a job. There's a lot of things that went out the door through the pandemic. I may feel funky now, but I know that I can climb out of it. I know that it is temporary. And I know the better days are ahead. And I'm grateful to have the opportunity to see those better days. And maybe today is one of those days. And you have to get back to that mindset of gratitude. Gratitude, baby. And then I get back to my healthy habits. All right. We got to shower, dude. Bruh, you got to shower. You got to take care of yourself. At the basic minimum level, you've got to shower. Get this dirt off you. Get the pizza sauce that's, been on your fingers for 4 days. Off the corners of your mouth. There's probably crumbs on your shirt. Change your damn shirt. Let's brush our teeth. Let's shave. It's kind of like, it's the same thing. When you take care of yourself, you feel better about yourself. If you live in an organized environment, then your brain is more organized. There's plenty of studies and stuff. I don't know. I heard it once, and they said that there's plenty of studies and stuff like this that show if you have an organized room, an organized house, and it's less chaotic, then your brain is less chaotic. All right. So we start with the basics. And then we got to get outside. We got to get out of this cave. You have to change. If the environment is what is causing this, then we have to change our environment. We've changed our mental environment. And now we've changed our physical environment. We're on the right track. So let's get outside. Let's get some sun. Let's see some vegetation, some trees, some flowers, some signs of other life. Other human beings. You don't have to interact with them. Don't be weird and wave and say hi. Nobody wants that. Mind your own business, but just be there. Now we're outside and we're walking. We're getting some sun. We're finding more moments to be grateful for. The dog loves it because he finally gets outside. Because he feels it too, man. So we're getting outside, we're changing our environment, we're changing our environment mentally, we're changing our environment physically. We're getting there. Change our environment socially. I'll check back in. Just a quick check in. Maybe call a parent, text a friend, kind of get that ball back rolling, get that social aspect rolling. But I really found that the one thing for me is a deadline or something outside of myself to hold myself accountable. Usually it's work. Usually this happens on my days off. Days off, I'll just sink into it, whatever. Yeah, I've got a bunch of stuff that I want to get done, but Nobody's making me get it done. But if I have to work, like I have to show up to work. I don't have a choice. So maybe it's work. Maybe it's an appointment with a friend. You guys go grab coffee, go golf, go hiking, go talk, go walk, whatever. But try to pull yourself out of the apartment, find something that holds you accountable. If you can't hold yourself accountable, find something else that holds you accountable. I'm terrible with self-discipline. There we go. And so work is really good for me to get out there and get it going. And you just got to roll with it. You just get back to those basics. And it's so crazy because I feel like it's so much easier to fall into the funk than it is to get out of the funk. I feel like you fall into the funk without even knowing it. You're like, oh shit, I'm in the funk. This Uber dropped me off at the Funk Club, man. I thought we were going somewhere else. I thought we were going skydiving. Shit, I'm in the Funk Club. So it just happens. I don't know what it is, but now that you know that you're in the Funk Club, hopefully, maybe this helps. I don't know. Maybe this helps, but I think this is something that I don't know if everybody goes through it. I certainly go through it, and I've noticed that it's kind of a repeating pattern. And it was a real big struggle for me until I started paying attention and started noticing signs and symptoms. Started thinking about what I've been thinking about. And really tuning into myself and trying to see what's going on because, maybe this probably doesn't apply to everybody. I don't know, but probably not. Maybe some people are more chemically, influenced than others. Mine seems like it's pretty environmental because I'm usually a happy pup. So I encourage you, if you notice that that's happening in your life, take a look. Self-aware. If you can meditate, man, I would. I hardly ever do it, and clearly I need to do it some more. But I try to get into it, try to be self-aware, knowing what's going on. But I think that having that self-awareness, being able to change your mindset and take action. Those are the biggest things for me. If I change my mindset and I start to take action, then we leave the club and we walk outside and it's nice and it's bright and it's sunny. But just understand, that life's a roller coaster. Take those small steps that you can, find those small victories, but understand there's going to be ups and downs. And, ride it, baby. Ride the wave, ride the roller coaster, own the funk, and know when to hit the lights and tell everybody get the fuck out of here and go home. Because the club is closed, man. The wee parts of life are right around the corner, and because the roller coaster and you go over the top of it and you say, wee. Sweet. All right. Great punchline. That'll do it for us today. I know it's a little different, but thanks for sticking around. Hopefully this helps you. Hopefully you can kind of tune in with yourself. And if you're feeling funky, man, just know that you're not alone. There's a bunch of other people going through it, but you don't have to stay that way. You can get out. You can have a good day. And I hope that, one of those ways to have a good day, hey, is following me on another episode of Last Week This Week with your boy Clayton Hill. Follow me on YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, TikTok, Apple Podcast. Don't stay gloomy, y'all. There's sunshine out there. We just got to find it. It's all good. Ride the wave. Enjoy the wee parts of life. We'll see you next time.